All right, what is up, everybody? John Schumacher here with New Wave Healthcare, the interview show that brings you inspiring and informative interviews with some of today's biggest health entrepreneurs every single week, Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm really excited today for our guest, Jonathan Loudermilk of Think Yourself to Health, which is an online health, fitness, and mental coaching service where Jonathan and his trainers really help to combine the mental and physical aspects of health and fitness for their clients. I've heard a lot of wonderful things about their services from some of their testimonials, and I'd highly recommend, if you are looking for a fitness coach, to check out Jonathan at thinkyourself2health.com. Jonathan, my man, thank you so much for your time today. I tell you what we'll do. Let's just have you tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll kick off this interview, my friend.
Absolutely. Well, John, I just want to say, man, I'm so thankful to be on your show. I appreciate the kind words that you just said. And to answer your question, to give you a little bit of a background of who I am, I really got started in health and fitness about 7 years ago, give or take a little bit of time. And it really stemmed from when I was in college and I got my sports medicine degree and just really fell in love of what that information and what that knowledge can do for people in terms of health and fitness. So from there, I went into personal training where I bounced around between a different couple gyms in a few different states at that point, trying to really hone my craft as a trainer, and at that time, really just trying to get by. And I found myself actually moving to Knoxville, Tennessee about 5 years ago. And I found this company called the Rush Fitness Complex, which is actually a pretty large chain down here in the Southeast. They've got about 23, 24 locations, about a $52 million business. So they're pretty big deal. And I worked my way up all the way from being, what was called a floor coach at the time, to actually being a fit coach, all the way up to an assistant fitness manager, all the way up to an actual fitness manager, where over about 3.5 years, I actually ran about 3 different clubs where I was mainly in charge of all of the Group X schedules. I was in charge of actually training and developing the trainers. I was in charge of making sure the quality and the programs for the members were good, working with the sales team, cleaning up the locker rooms. Like, I pretty much had to I'd be a man of multiple hats.
Yeah.
And that's really when I learned really how to run a business. And I really learned like what really goes into it, what are the numbers behind it, why are we so focused on customer service and experience and all these different things. And what that actually led me to was eventually getting to the point where I'm like, why am I not running my own business? Why am I running someone else's where I could be running my own and running my vision for what I want to provide? So about 7 months ago is when I came up with the concept of Think Yourself to Health, which what John mentioned, which is really about connecting the mind and the body, in terms of health and fitness, as well as mental wellness and being, and really going online with it, because it's really something I want to share on a larger scale and a larger audience, where just a little statistic that really motivated me to go online versus more of a box gym is, a good gym and a good saturated area of a population, they only penetrate about 9 to maybe up to 13% of the population that actually come in and partake in their fitness services. And I started thinking, like, that's such a small percentage to really go for, and given, 9 to 13% is actually still a lot of people, but what I wanted was a larger piece of the pie. I wanted to be able to offer what I have to a larger scale of people. So that's why I decided to go online and really meet people where they're at versus asking them to meet me where I'm at and where I'm comfortable at. So that's really where the conception of Think Yourself to Health started.
Right. Yeah. That's a great I guess pathway that you've taken, and you sort of had this aha moment where you're like, man, I'm just not engaging and reaching enough people, and you were thinking to yourself, wow, I can get so much more of an outreach taking this online. Was that your aha moment, or was there another moment where you kind of thought to yourself, like, wow, this is really like something I'm going to do? Like, what motivated you to really take that step?
Well, my aha moment was, one of the things of being a fitness manager was we had this online software that we used to supplement with our clientele called .fit or R3. And what that was an online program they could pay like $10 extra a month, and it calculated their calories, grams of protein, carbs, fats, and a trainer would be associated to be able to hold them accountable to it. And it had all these other tools and systems that no one in the company was utilizing. It had the ability to make workouts for people, but what trainer in their right mind is going to substitute getting $10 or getting $5 for a sale where they don't get paid anymore for that service, where they could actually make them come in and train with them live, and that's how they made their money. Well, as being a fitness manager, I wasn't concerned with so much how much I made per hour because I wasn't paid that way. So I looked at it in terms of value and service to the clients. And as I started taking people through this program, I actually got pretty good at it because I was terrible at it at first. I had no idea. It was trial and error. Like, oops, sorry, that didn't work. I apologize. Let me go back and try to fix that. And after working with enough people and getting my process down of like how to properly use it with people, it was one of the easiest sales I've ever sold to anybody was using that software because it straight up got people results, and they could use it from their home. There was no excuse, and it really helped them become more self-sufficient, which in terms of working in the gym, that's almost a trainer's worst nightmare. Is like, oh my God, I don't want you to leave me. We're not really doing people a service if we carry that mentality, so it's really a catch-22. But what I realized with this software was how powerful it was. And how much is being underutilized, and how this could just have massive change and impact people's lives in such a large scale. I couldn't help but become attracted to it, and I got really good at using it. Our club was actually probably the #1 in sales when we ran promotions because we're only people that actually sold it because I believed in it. And it got people really great results. So the combination of realizing software and its power when used properly and given the right tools and the right people, and my realization of seeing where I was with my company and really remembering what I dreamed of when I was 16 years old about really owning my own business, where I lost sight of that.
Right. Well, I think that's
that lab and trying to meet this person so I could be in this position so I could actually do what I really wanted to do. And after getting a coach, and I was working with Chris Whitehead, I'll talk about him a little bit more later, really just helped me come to realization is like, what am I waiting for? I found something that works, a system that does produce results and can be used to make a profit. And I realized that why am I waiting the next 10 years to maybe go chase my dream? The last thing I want to be is 45 years old and looking back and having a bunch of regrets. So that's where I made this decision to, I'm going to start my own company, and I'm going to build it from the ground up, and we'll figure out things as we go.
Right. Perfect. So tell us a little bit about what makes Think Yourself to Health unique amongst other training programs. Elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, really what we did is we found the 3 factors that really get people results. And just to give you like a tidbit of like some of the factors that have been in the past, like I came from Gold's Gym, very old school. And they used to have this packet which was like 5 different things to reach your results. And it was like nutrition and working out and cardio and then like supplements. That's how old school it was back then, like supplements to get your results. And what I've learned over the last 7 years, that what really gets people results is not the supplements, it's not just doing cardio, it's not just nutrition. It really comes down to 3 simple things. #1 is going to be your energy in, which is your nutrition. What do you eat? Right? And making sure that you match the lifestyle, because everyone's lifestyle is different, especially people that are working online, that are stuck behind a computer for 12, 14, 16 hours and are so sedentary, they can't be eating the same thing that, say, Terrell Owens eats that works out 2-3 hours a day. So really mapping out what's going to match their lifestyle in terms of like calories and carbs and proteins and fats and all that good stuff, but really matching their lifestyle with the energy in portion. #2, energy out, right? What do we do to actually raise our heart rate to burn calories? What do we do to build muscle? What do we do to get in that peak performance shape that we want to be in? It's all subjective to what you want to achieve. It's all subjective to what your goals are. So really mapping out and laying out true periodization, which is basically a fancy word for program design, trained by doing, they say. And finding out what they're looking for specifically, and then making those workouts for them that's truly tailored for them, and giving them all the information so that not only are they getting led through the process, they're being educated. They're actually learning. It's true coaching. Too many times I've seen people in the fitness world literally drag their clients to the finish line, whether that finish line is 20 pounds or if it's 50 pounds. And when they end up at that finish line marker and they're in that great shape, most of them don't know why they got there or how they got there. And they don't know how to maintain it. So what happens? they revert right back, slowly but surely, back to where they started, just so they can buy another $2,000 package with you to do it all over again.
Mm.
That's madness to me.
Right.
No one should have to pay someone that much money to keep paying them that, because they're not learning how to get there. So it's real coaching in terms of the energy out, because it's really this simple. If you want to lose weight, you eat less than what you burn. It's math. It's really just math, man, and it's figuring out that formula for people and then giving them the tools to go make it happen. Which really goes into my third factor, and I'm a little biased. This is my favorite. This is where the think came into the name, is really the mindset coaching. And it's really giving people the ability to really understand what got them to the place of where they're no longer happy because they're so out of shape. What are those limiting beliefs? What are those things that they're telling themselves of why they can't versus why they can? Why are they finding it hard that they keep hitting the snooze alarm every single day versus jumping out of bed going, I can't wait to make it happen today? So we've created a program that we actually partnered with my coach, Chris Whitehead, at Think to Succeed, by adopting his program that he came up with, and it's called the Autonomy, Mastery, and Purpose Program, and it's really teaching people, one, how to become autonomous, self-driven with their fitness goals. So it's not just, I don't want to get yelled at by Jonathan again this week. That's the last thing that I want. I want people to be excited. I want people to want to do what they're doing. I want people to lead themselves at some point. The next thing, master, how to master themselves in that aspect, how to make sure that they never revert back, and then if they do, it's very short so that they can get right back on track. And then the biggest thing, what is your why? Why do you want to lose 50 pounds? Yeah, you're going to look great. That's a given. People are going to say nice things to you, but what's your why? Mm-hmm. Is it because you're 55 years old and you want to be able to play with your grandkids because you realize you're getting a little too out of shape and you want to enjoy the time that you have with them? Or maybe you've got a reunion coming up at 10 years from now, or not 10 years from now, your 10-year reunion, and it's coming up in 6 months. And the last thing you want to do is show up there and you're 30, 40 pounds overweight and you're seeing people that made fun of you when you were in shape. Imagine what they'll say now.
Right.
What's that why? What is the real purpose behind why you want to be in shape and look the way you want to do? And when you could find your why, the how's easy.
Yeah, and I really love that about your program and what you guys preach, because just in our health, just like anything, it comes down to our habits and our mindset, and you guys help bring that in, and that's just such a missing piece there. So I really love that about your mission and what you guys are doing. So tell us a little bit about some of the fears you had. So you decided to take this business online. I know there's some fears any of us have when we start like a new venture or a new idea. We're jumping off the edge, taking that leap of faith. Just touch on some of the fears. Like, what were the thoughts going on in your head before you decided to start this?
Well, John, where do I start?
Well,
is a real question.
You don't need all of them.
Well, I'll tell you this: the fear never goes away. I will tell you that. You learn how to handle the fear better. That is what happens. And my first initial fears was like, one, what tools do I need? I've never done this before. How do I take what I've learned in 7 years and supply it to the masses out there in a format that is actually functional, right? That they're actually going to use, right? Because if they don't use it, there's absolutely no purpose behind the information. So, number one, how do I do that? Number two, how do I network? I've never networked. I've been the guy, if you came inside my gym, I had 110% confidence talking to you. Versus if I saw you in the street, I had about 10% confidence to talk to you about what I'm passionate about. So where do I find that blend of in the middle where I'm not being overwhelming, I'm not being overbearing, at the same time I can simply build that relationship with people and then walk them through to figure out how I can help them. So really learning how to network, and not just network, but online networking, which is totally different than in person, as a lot of you, I'm sure, can relate to. And really learning that process of how that works. And a little quick side note, Chris Whitehead, it comes out to me, I gotta share it. The way he taught me about internet marketing was really, it's like dating, right? And he always uses the dating analogy with me. It cracks me up. So he talks about, okay, if you were to friend someone and your main goal is to get them to want to do business with you, or you do business with them, whatever the purpose behind it, if you go right out there and ask them, it's like going up to the prettiest girl in the bar and going, hey, you want to go home with me tonight? You know,
You're not going to bat a
how
very high average.
yeah, how often is that going to work? You know, how many pretty girls need to ask to get one? You know, it's just not very smart. It turns people off, and I
Right.
never I understand that with like real life relationships, but on online, I was like, there's no way to take it that personally, but it really is that way. So really, how to take your time, and before you ask the pretty girl out, ask her out for coffee. You know,
Right.
hey, let me talk to you. Let me let you know a little bit about me. I'd love to get to know you,
Right.
and kind of learn that process of how to build authentic relationships with people online, just like you would in real life. So
Right.
that was my first big fear, which I've gotten a lot better at, fortunately, to Chris. And then the last one is really changing my mindset from being a business manager versus a business owner,
Mm.
which is totally different. Totally different. So when I was a manager, when I could pass the buck to say over things I couldn't control or things that were frustrating me, you can't do that as an owner. You just can't. You have to. There is no excuse. You have to find the solution as quickly as possible, and it's on you. You know, so it's really about being patient enough and having the mindset of really like approaching every situation with, I'm an owner now. I'm not just managing this. This is really all on me. So it's a lot more accountability and pressure, but you know the perks and rewards far exceed not doing it at all, to say. So those are my three main ones, I guess, to say with the business. And then outside of that is just the fear of, are people going to like me?
Sure.
Right?
The
You know,
basic fear.
are people gonna laugh at me and say I'm full of craziness because I'm talking about mindset? I'm talking about purpose. You know, what's this purpose and mindset? You know, most people don't never ask themselves that question their whole life, much less being asked that by someone that they just met.
Right.
So really the fear of that and the fear of not being able to provide for my family, which, you know, I have a fiance, you know, and I have to look for the big picture. I have to provide and take care of her. So I have to make sure that I'm doing what needs to be done in the household. So just all the basic fears that anybody has to say, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of those. I'm sure everyone can relate to that. We all have fears of, rejection, or the, what was it called, the imposter feeling, or the imposter fear of like, am I worthy? Who am I to do this type of thing? We all have those fears. When I started this project, I was like, wow, I don't know, who am I? And who's going to listen to me? And that's your head playing over and over again. But like you just said, you have to be able to push through those fears and act in spite of those fears. They never go away. So I appreciate you sharing what you did there, and I think that paints a powerful picture for anybody who's looking to start a new endeavor. And then, so let's go to the next question here. Let's see. We went through. You talked a little bit about the process in the jump, but let's take us to the first step that you had to take in order to get the ball rolling. Like, take us to that point in time. You had this aha moment. You were excited. You wanted to take action on this business. What did you have to do to get the ball rolling?
Well, first I had to quit my job.
That's a big one.
Which was the most terrifying thing.
Oh,
I just
man.
dumped 4.5 years of my life into this company, working so hard to work up this ladder, just to go, I guess it's not for me.
Yep.
You know, and I had to tell my bosses that, and I resigned, and I made sure I cashed in all my 225 hours of PTO that I accrued.
That was a nice check, huh?
Make sure you do that.
Don't forget.
Make sure you do that before, you know. So I got that first, and I remember the first thing I did was I called Chris, and I go, Chris, let's do this, man. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, I just quit. And he goes, are you serious? Like, he almost didn't believe me. I'm like, we've been talking about this for like 2 weeks now.
Yeah, wow.
So I fly up to Boston, and I stay with him for a week. So I have no idea what I'm doing, man. I don't know what I'm going to call it. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I just know that I want to do it. So I go up there, and I sleep in that guy's spare bedroom for a whole week, and I just watch him. You know, I watch him build his company. I watch him, the way he talks to people. I listen to him about how to network with people. What he educated me on what's a funnel. At that point, I had no idea what a sales funnel was. And then he just helps walk me through the questions I need to ask myself of like, what is it you really want to do? And that's really when we got more into mindset. And I was like, well, I want to make sure I incorporate that into my business. You know, I think that's a very important component that I feel like is neglected a lot in the fitness realm. And that's where he helped me come up with Think Yourself to Health, which is really awesome. And that really gave me the first idea. Okay, we've got the brand, we've got the logo. Now, what are all the things that we're going to provide? So I had to think about what is every little service that we're going to give people. So I had to figure out, well, how do I have a software that facilitates all those little services? So we talked about the 3 factors earlier, but I had to find software that would actually allow me to connect with people and give them all the tools that they needed. So I searched for about 3 or 4 weeks, when I was there and then afterward. But up there is what led me to start that process, and I found this software called HyperStrike. And this is after finding every software that was just absolutely god-awful, like not user-friendly, didn't allow me to do things I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to upload custom videos. I know I wanted to be able to input nutritional plans, different things like that. So I found this software. They had a free trial, of course, like they all do. And I tried it out, and it was brilliant. It provides everything that you need, from the custom nutrition plans to printing it out on grocery lists, to being able to log it, being able to generate recommended foods based on what you're looking for, which is really cool. It automatically does that. Right. And then all the way have the fitness calendar, where I can literally, you have a calendar, I can input every workout for you, and then on the right side, it has all the videos, the reps, the sets, the intensity next to every exercise. So it's literally, you click on the day, you could print out the whole workout, or you can watch the videos to learn how to do it. So it made it like literally so that anyone could view these workouts and then perform them.
Right.
So finding that helped me get to that next point. And then from there, what really led me to, okay, well, how do I get this out there? How do I get my website going? I had an idea of a membership at the time, which I'll get a little bit more later. But that's where Chris introduced me to Lonnie Robinson, who's actually my business coach, and it was one of the best investments I've ever made in terms of building this business and just in life. I love the guy to death. He's literally done everything for me because I had no idea what I was doing, obviously. So I made sure I found him, and he put together my whole system, my website, my funnel, my newsletter, my whole web page, all the content, being able to format it and package it and put it out there. And he's literally done everything for me. So those were the first steps that I did to really get the ball rolling for myself.
Right. And I think you make a great point here. And guys, you got to remember, you don't have to be the expert in everything. That we make that mistake all the time. I got to learn how to make a website. I got to learn how to market. I got to learn how to do this and that. And our man Jonathan here, he's not worried about any of that because he surrounded himself. He invested in people around him that can do that for him. So I don't get hung up on that. Don't get hung up on the I got to know everything syndrome before I start. Do what you love. Do what gets you excited. And then outsource the rest. Team up with people around you that can do that for you. Otherwise, you'll just never get started, and your head is going to go. It's going to blow up. Trust me, I've been there. So, thank you for sharing that, Jonathan. That's such a great point that we all need to remember. So take us to the next step then. So you got your coaches, you got your team. You started out by getting your logo, obviously, and your ideas on paper and everything. Then you took action, got a coach, got a website started. And then it sounds like you ended with your last little talk there on you were starting to share it with people. Like, tell us about what did you do after that?
What did I do after I got the coaches?
You got the coaches, and you're out. You said you were starting to share it. And you needed to learn how to share it or market it. What did you do after you teamed up?
Okay, so basically, once I got the right people in place to coach me in the aspects that I needed, so like John said earlier, if you don't personally know how to do it, you're not the best, outsource it. Is really getting the name out there, and that's where I create the Think Yourself to Health group, and I create an actual page for it. And I just started talking to people that I know, and at the beginning, I started actually giving out free trials to people. I give like a four-week free trial. And I was like, why don't you try it out first? Let me get you going through it. Let me give you a sample of every little thing, and if it's for you, then great. We can definitely talk about options, how to continue. If not, hey, no harm, no foul. Just glad I was able to be in service to you. So by the combination of reaching out to people to try out these free trials, and obviously, got several of them to convert into clients I still have to today. And even the ones that didn't, I still kept a great relationship with them. That's the number one thing, is it wasn't for the sale, it was to be able to give value. And whatever came from it was what was supposed to come from it. So combination of that, building my likes on my my Facebook page, and just sharing good content, positive feedback, things like that, all led to what I've created probably within the last couple months as an actual Facebook group where, whether you're a paying client or someone who's interested, or, maybe someone I knew a long time ago or a friend of a friend, whoever you are, we've created this really awesome Facebook group where we just have high level engagement because it's really about go giving.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really about asking real questions and building real relationships with people. It's not just posting, a random fitness tip, which, we'll put fitness content in there to help you out in terms of nutrition, exercise, things like that. But it's really finding out who people are. People just really want to connect with people that are like-minded, and this just happens to be based around health and fitness. So by creating that group and really just loving on people and then helping connect them with other people, it's just been a great experience to build that following with people just by giving it away and helping them. So that's what's really kind of helped build some momentum in terms of, I guess, what John, what you asked, the next step and what I've done with the business.
Right. I think that's key, what you just said about a Facebook group. I mean, Facebook groups, as you know, are one of the biggest ways to engage people, and one of your most interactive lists of followers, you could say, or people that are interested in what you're doing. You're providing a community, you're giving a lot of free value. It's something that every business should have, is a Facebook group where they just give away, just like you said, go give, just over the top giving is just such a critical aspect. So thank you for that. And so you got a Facebook group going. And you did what next? I mean, you were when did you dig into creating content, and how did you go about doing that?
Well, let me share this with you. I think one of the questions you prompted me for earlier is your biggest mistake, right? Or if you could go back and change it. So sure, I'll answer that, and then that'll lead to this one. Is whenever the biggest mistake I made was pre-selling people. Mm-hmm. I would have the idea of what I wanted, so I would have the content, right? So I would go dig out my books and things that worked for me and work for my other clients, and as well as my other trainers when they'd have ideas, we get together. But really, when you pre-sell someone and you don't have the system to actually facilitate that actual service with that, is the biggest mistake you can make, and that's one of the mistakes I made, was I actually pre-sold things because I thought that the things were going to be done by a certain time date, and they weren't, and there are things I couldn't control. So definitely not pre-selling. It's something you want to do. Make sure whatever you have to provide, that you actually have a venue to actually execute and give that away freely. So what I've done since then is make sure that that is up and running. And what I've been doing in terms of content is every week, I'm either writing blogs, I'm writing newsletters, I'm creating products. For example, we've just created a new product called Waistline Crusher, which is just strictly focused on decreasing your waistline. So I've been hours on end putting together that. And the other thing is really filming tons and tons of video. Me and Renee, who's actually my chief of content, we go and we film exercises every week, and we'll spend 2 to 4 hours. And then I'll go in and put the hours of converting it and uploading it, and so that we can upload that to the member site for the exercise library, which is one of the things that we provide, as well as being able to upload those to the Hyperstrike program. So if someone wants to program one of those exercises, like whether it's me or one of my trainers, they have the ability to do that. So we're constantly creating content. That's one of the biggest keys I've learned, is you're always making content. You never make it when you have to make it. You make it when you don't need to make it, so that when you do need it, you've got accessible as the true key when it comes to that.
Right. And so who helps you make your content? Do you package the material yourself, or does your coach again help you with that?
Basically, me and whatever one of my coaches, if they have got a good idea or something they want to share, then we all mastermind, we put it together, and then basically we create the actual information, and then Lonnie packages it, my business coach, and he's the one that puts it together, puts the graphics, does all the crazy technology stuff that I'm still learning, and he helps make it happen. So he's the other half of the equation to actually implement what we're doing. So.
Right. Yeah, that's again a great point about having people help you with the things you're not strong with. So, Lonnie, I've heard great things about. We had the honor of talking a couple weeks ago. So I actually put a link of his below. If anybody who's looking for a digital coach to kind of help you with the technical sides of your business, Lonnie is highly recommended. So you can check out his link below. So, Jonathan, now that you're up and rocking with your business, I'm just hearing great things from you. Like, looking back on that journey to this point, what would you do differently? I know you shared a little bit about the mistake you made earlier, but what would you do differently if you could start over?
If I could start over, that's mainly the biggest thing is, like I said, not the pre-sale, to have all the content ready and able to actually facilitate and put out to people. I guess the other thing I would say is from day one, outsource everything that is outside your comfort zone, I guess. Now, not saying that you're not supposed to grow and get better at things. You know, you want to get good at things. You want to understand every aspect of the business because, you know, you are the CEO. It's your responsibility. But you don't have to be a master at everything. And it could be something as simple as the weekly newsletter. You know, as soon as, you know, I started doing the newsletter and it started getting too time taxing for me because I'm trying to do everything all at once, you know, all I had to do is have a simple conversation, you know, with my fiance Renee, and I told her about it, and she goes, well, actually, I love doing that. And I wasted 3 weeks because I was too proud to ask her or too proud to even talk about it. You know, I'm the man. I have to figure it out, I have to make it happen. But as soon as I was willing to be open and real with her, she immediately took it, and she's way better than me at it. That's the best part about it. So now everyone gets better value versus me trying to type something that's not my strong suit.
Right.
So it's really about identify what you're passionate about, because that's what you're going to be most motivated to do on a daily basis. And then the things that you aren't, as soon as you can, find someone who is passionate about it and get their butt in that seat so that they can make it happen, so that the clients win, the members win, and everyone's happy on the team.
Right. Yep. Great points. So share with us a little bit about some of the resources some of your favorite resources that you use to run your business.
Well, the first one, I read this actually back in college, quite a bit back. Think and Grow Rich. That's a classic. I think everyone's read that book by now. If you haven't, go pick it up.
Yep.
You have to. It's a must-read. The next book I read was John C. Maxwell's Relationships, and it's actually a pretty small book. You know, you could read it in one sitting. I call it my bathroom book. That's where I keep it at. Read a little bit each day.
Learn on the throne.
There you go, man. Relationships on the throne, baby. Best time to talk about it. But yeah, so I just literally would just read a little bit, and I would reflect on the message, because that's really what the book is. It talks in parables and it talks in stories, because there is no direct route to identifying what you do, what you say in a particular instance in any relationship. It's really learning from experience and learning through stories. So I would read a story or two, and then I would reflect on it. And the more that I dove deep into that aspect, the more I drove deeper into who I am, my relationship with myself, it helped me better connect with other people. And no matter what you want to do in life, if you want to have impact, you've got to be able to connect with who you're talking to, and you have to be able to build that relationship. So it was a quick read. It's one of the 21 laws that they have in there, so you could get the big book and read the segment out of there, or you could buy just the individual of it. It was a great book and helped me out a lot.
Awesome.
One more book. One more. The Energy Bus. Have you heard this book, John?
No, you know, I haven't read that. You shared it with me the other day.
Oh, man. The Energy Bus by John Gordon. Go get it. One of the best books that you'll ever read. I'm telling you, man. It's really it's just a story about a guy, and he's talking about how his life is just falling apart. His wife hates him. He's 35. He's middle management. His bosses are getting on to finish the crunch time on the new project. His employees hate him. His car breaks down. Just Murphy's Law, just straight up Murphy's Law. And he actually has to start taking the bus, which is like, you know, way to add insult to injury right there. Now I've got to take a public bus, and this is a guy who probably makes like 6 figures, but absolutely miserable. So he ends up having to ride this bus. Every time he gets on a bus, he learns a new lesson from this like very rambunctious out there bus driver. And they talk about the 10 rules of the bus. And I won't go ahead and spoil it for you. I'll let you read that for yourself, but I will share one lesson that I will never forget the rest of my life. And they use the analogy of talking about golf. And they talk about golf as the most addicting sport in the world. And why is that? Well, think about it. You know, you've got people that are willing to go out there and swing at the ball 100 different times, and they might slice it, they might hit it to the left. They might put it in the water. They might put it in the sand. They might even just miss the ball completely. You know, but yet
Sounds
they
like
go
me.
out there. Yeah, man, I'm terrible at golf. And so at first I was like, I don't quite get it. But they do talk about how the one time you hit the ball perfectly down the fairway, and I'm talking clean shot, 200 yards, right down the fairway, perfect, right on the green. That's the shot that you remember when you leave. You don't remember the 99 times you hit it in the water. You remember the one time, so like, you know what, I'll try it again. And it's like, why do we do that? You know?
Yep.
And it really comes down to your one great shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I started thinking, why am I not doing this in my life? Because when we have bad days at work or bad days in general, what do we typically do?
Right.
We think of everything that was bad about it. We don't think about the one good thing that happened.
Right.
And that's the biggest mistake. So once I've learned that, it's helped me overcome all of my troubles by understanding, well, what's my one great shot for that day? And as you do that, you start building multiple great shots as you go through your week. And before you know it, you've got 10, 15, 20 great shots. And then you're making things happen.
Yeah.
But it all starts with one.
Right. Nothing feels better, man, than hitting that golf ball right down the lane, man.
Yeah,
It's
man.
the best feeling in the world. So, so share a couple of. I think you mentioned before the show here you had a couple of other internet resources. I think Pamela and the other software program you mentioned a little bit earlier. Just share a couple minutes on that, and then we'll move on. Yeah.
Cool, man. So basically, you know, you've got your Aweber, which is awesome. You know, one thing I really like about it is it makes sure that the quality of the leads that you get is absolutely phenomenal, because they have to actually make sure that they want to be on your list. So you're getting quality, not just quantity. And I believe in anything, quality is going to trump quantity any single day of the week. And it automates all your systems. You can do broadcasts, all these different things. So I absolutely love Aweber. Pamela is a great program as well. It just helps you record your Skype calls. That's something that we do at Think Yourself to Health, so that that person can keep that call forever and ever if they ever want to go back to it, so it makes it easy. Any Video Converter is actually the name of it, and it's a free program, or the trial version is, and I've been able to convert all of my exercise videos for free, which is awesome because I've got hundreds of them. Now, the other aspect of it is, if you want to convert videos that are 3 minutes or longer, then you want to have to upgrade to it, which I'm not sure how much that costs, but they do have the free option, which is good. And then Audacity, which is great, man. So that Audacity lets you edit all the different audios that you put together. So, for example, when we do the recordings for the goal setting and things like that, I can actually edit the video for that and then send it right back to the clients. So those are four programs that worked really great for me.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, we have links to all the book recommendations and a lot of the services that you mentioned below. So if anybody wants to check those out and to see if they're a good fit for them, go ahead and just check it out below. So let's talk a little bit about marketing, Jonathan. Like, how do you go about spreading the word? How do you market your business?
Okay, well, obviously there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's Google+, there's LinkedIn. One of the things that I create is actually blog posts that goes from my site, and Lonnie, once again, Lonnie's so great. I can literally just go like or share whatever post I have on all 4 of those streams. So I don't have to go individually to each individual one. And I can just hit those buttons and it automatically shares it. So I'm getting my message out there several times a day on one click and just creating a little bit of content. So that's been the main way that I've been doing it. And then the other way is, of course, offline. You know, talking to people that I meet in the gym, talking to people that I just know that would be interested, and just marketing from those both avenues, to say.
Okay. So mainly social media and then just word of mouth interaction. I mean, do you send out cards, or do you I mean, how do you do your offline marketing?
Offline is really just talking to people face to face. You know, there's also different live events I go to. I'm part of a networking group in Knoxville, Tennessee, that I go to, and it's really the face to face and just meeting people. I feel like it's old fashioned, but if you really build a solid relationship with someone, it's the best way to build your business. It's not the fastest, but you're building a business on a strong foundation when you take the time to do so.
Right, quality leads, not people that are just going to be a number in your list or on your Facebook group, but actually people that love you and follow you. And that's just more important, right? I mean, you don't need hundreds and hundreds or thousands of people on an email list or a group, if none of them interact with you,
Yeah.
it's for naught. But if you can create that key interaction with just a smaller group, it just makes all the difference.
Yeah, well, you got to look at, what's your conversion rate. That's the number one indicator of one of two things: your value and then the quality of the people you're talking to. So anytime you look at your conversion rate, if it's very low, you're not happy with it, then you need to look at those two things. Is it something that you're not doing? Is it more value that you need to find a way to provide? Or are you just attracting the wrong types of people? Are you attracting the quantity versus quality? So it's really finding those right pockets of people that you want to build relationships with and associate with, and then give that overwhelming value, and then you'll watch your ratio skyrocket when you do that in terms of conversions.
Awesome, man. Let's do a little bit of a speed round here. This is always my favorite part of the show here. And
all right.
You've answered a few of the questions already, so you already stole a couple from me.
Oh, no!
But I'm going to hit you with a couple other ones here, and we'll see how you do. So I'm going to hit you with a question. You just kick back. First thing that comes to your mind, short little answer. So you already mentioned your book and a few things, but let's talk about this. What's your favorite success quote?
Success quote. Okay. The first one I'll think of is I don't really like. Excuse me as I paraphrase. It's not going to be the best. It's actually from Tyler Perry, and I remember watching this video, and it talked about the captions before. It was like homeless to millionaire in 3 years, and then Tyler Perry came up, and I was like, no way, no way. And he starts talking, and he talks about dreams are like seeds. You plant them in the ground, and you do what you can to take care of them, but no matter how hard you try, you can't control the locusts when they come to destroy your seed, and you can't control the weather, whether it rains or shines. All you can do is simply plant your feet in the ground and believe. That's all you can do. And I remember when he said that, I got goosebumps, and it's like 3 in the morning. I'm like, let's go do some push-ups or something. Like I was getting juice, man. I had no idea that Tyler Perry was that deep, and that's just something that stuck with me that I heard almost a year ago now.
Right. Who knew that Tyler Perry would have given you your success quote and your...
I know, man. I don't even like his... I don't even like his movies. I don't.
What's one piece of advice you would give a new health entrepreneur?
A new health entrepreneur? Well, two things. Number one, determine your value, right?
Right.
How much are you worth? What is it that you're willing to give? And then the other thing is, what's your unique gift? What makes you different? There's tons of us out there. There's tons of people that can create a workout, can create diet, but what is your one gift? Who are you? Right. What is your purpose? So if you can define your value, how much you're worth, and then define your purpose or your unique gift, I think you're on a good path to start making things happen.
Absolutely. What's the biggest change you see coming to healthcare?
Biggest change is I think people are wanting to be coached versus led. And what I mean by that is so many people in the past would pay this X amount of money to have someone take care of it for them and just get them to the finish line. No questions asked. They didn't want to know how. They didn't want to know why. Just get me there. Like I think of like getting your car fixed. No one cared about what the mechanic was actually doing. It's like, are you going to fix it? I believe now, though, people with the awareness of health at the state that it is and the consciousness that has grown and the heartbeat that has grown with it, people are wanting to learn how to do it themselves. They're wanting to be able to do it, and they don't want to have to just go to a gym. Now, given that there's a lot of people that want to go to gym, it's great I go to a gym, but not everyone wants to do that because of their comfortability with it or convenience, whatever reason is. But people want to know how to do it, and they want to learn how to do it, and they want someone that can actually lead and coach them and show them how that they can achieve it and really be a true mentor to them instead of just being a trainer, know?
Right. Yeah, I definitely see that, pulse in the health industry emerging of like self-empowerment and, your diets instead of medications and just all kinds of stuff that's emerging with just this new movement that's coming. I think it's really exciting, and I'm stoked that you're a part of it, my man. So, man, Jonathan, I appreciate the heck out of you for your time today. And why don't we do this? Just tell our listeners a little bit about where they can find out more about you, where they can connect with you, and learn more about your business.
Well, absolutely. Well, the best two ways that I'm always looking is obviously the website. It's www.thinkyourself, then the number 2, health.com, and you can feel free to comment and post on any of the blogs that we have. There's also a link to join our online Facebook group, which you can go to the website and access it, or just go directly to Facebook, which is Think Yourself and then To Health, not two, which you're more than welcome to join us in our group, and I'd love to meet you and help you out any way I can.
Sounds great. We appreciate your time today. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
Hey, no problem. Thank you, John.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks a lot for checking out our show today. It was just a powerful, information-packed show. Really a lot of inspiration in this one, so we really appreciate Jonathan's time. Our next show will be November 4th, Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have another great guest on. Although Jonathan's going to give him a run for his money. He did pretty dang good today, I'll tell you what. But so that's our next show. There'll be links below to all the resources mentioned here, so you can check those out and see if those are a fit for you. And I think that's it for this evening. I'll have this video archived like all of them are, probably in the next couple days. So you can go to newwavehealthcare.com/interviews to check it out there. And I'll have all the resources and a replay of this show today right on that site. So have a great day, everybody. I will see you next Monday.